But what do you think is the reason for all this? Sullivan Chime has been a very popular governor
Of course.
up until this point. So what went wrong?
You see, the problem is one, being impervious to advice or lack of quality advisors. Sullivan is a very good man. I've worked closely with him. He was Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice. Very humble. But right now, in fact, I feel ashamed being a lawyer about what is going on in Enugu State. And he's a very senior lawyer. And I wonder maybe there's something contagious in that seat that makes people, they will fly up and then come down to the lowest level. I think this issue of refusal of the House to approve this loan aggravated the governor. He didn't go down well with the governor. And I was informed that the governor had earlier on, without the approval of the House, drawn 12 billion in 2012 under supplementary budget. And I've been able to go through the document. So there was no budgetary provisions, and there was no appropriation law back in Senate. So what the House members are talking is not the 2012 budget, but the supplementary budget of 2004 to the tune of 12 billion without the resolution of the House, without the consent of the House. And as I'm talking to you now, I've run a check. There is no record of the resolution of the House. The Speaker's signature is not on that.
But the loan was taken.
But the loan was taken. So, I mean, to me, that constitutes gross misconduct.
Chief Chukwu, let's pause with Enugu for now. We'll come back there.
Okay.
Besides Enugu, the other states have had impeachment issues. Just before the elections, it was Ebonyi. Then after the elections, we've had Katsina, Niger, Kebbi, all of them impeachment. And all this seem to be pointing to one thing based on handling of finances or what you lawyers of the Constitution will call gross misconduct. Why are we having it this way?
The problem is the fact that somebody or an arm of government is presiding over a financial empire and dispenses patronage even to the other arms of the government. That's why I'm worried and bothered about this constitutional amendment. You get my point? So, certainly, people must, he who pays the piper dictates the tune.
Of course.
You see, where the judiciary will go cap in hand, begging for money, the legislatures will go cap in hand, begging for money, and the one organ of the government, the executive, dispenses those patronages. It is not unexpected. So they play God. I can tell you, as a commissioner, I was detained by my governor for refusing to approve payment for a second-hand computer supplied by the senior sister, blood sister. I refused to approve
The
that.
governor got you detained.
I was detained as state CID by the then Commissioner of Police, Maurice Inabe. I am talking from past experience. I've experienced it.
So is it a sign of disregard for the rule of law?
That complete, arrogant disregard for the rule of law.
In fact, talking about arrogance, there was a headline in one paper yesterday where he says the House cannot impeach him.
So even refer to the legislators as clowns. That will show you the extent to which the judiciary has even been emasculated. As I'm talking to you, the judicial workers are on strike.
Well,
The House of Assembly has been sealed up by the police.
Would you put that emasculation squarely at the doorstep of the governor? or it's a result of the behavior of the judiciary itself?
The office of the governor is an exalted one and carries with it a lot of responsibilities. A leader must be firm and decisive, especially on sensitive issues. The judiciary is a very sensitive arm of the government. So, why are these workers on strike? Why have the issues they raised not been addressed? A responsible government would have done that.
But the judiciary workers being on strike is across the country.
Well, even if it is across the country, I remember when I was a commissioner, there was a strike in my state. I called the people under my ministry. I said, look, do me this favor. Please, we owe the people who has put us here a lot.
Okay. We've since been joined by...
And they reasoned with me and they were coming to work. I mean, you can use diplomatic approach in resolving issues.
Okay. We've since been joined by social commentator Mr. Bala Zaka. Good morning. Thank you very much for
Nigeria
coming.
once more.
We're looking at the spate of impeachments now moving across some states in the country, just to mention some of them, Katsina, Niger, Enugu, and so on. And we've been looking specifically at Enugu since he's from Enugu State.
Correct.
And he used to be a commissioner in Enugu State. But let's take you to the happenings in... No, first of all, what do you make of the impeachments happening at this time, which is about 3 weeks to the end of this dispensation?
Well, I always like using this phrase. It's probably accident of coincidence or coincidence of accidents. But fortunately, I mean, Commissioner has served in government, you know, and he is a legal practitioner. But you see, when you talk about democracy generally, there are certain attributes of democracy. And when you look at these attributes of democracy, then you define events that are likely to take place in what you basically describe as democratic dispensation. So when you talk about lawlessness, generally, in democracy, don't be surprised to hear or see or experience executive lawlessness, judicial lawlessness, and even legislative lawlessness. To the best of my knowledge and experience as a fellow Nigerian, I mean, Barrister was an appointee. He was not a key player. He was an appointee and was supposed to be a lieutenant. So it depends on how and why he was appointed. So these are the things we would want to define always. Why was I appointed? And even when I was appointed, I must have been appointed and I accepted based on consent and my expectations when I get there. So if I go there and the drawing table or the field is looking undulating, it's my duty to probably resign, call the attention of my principal or whatever. But there are also fundamental events you will expect in democracy. Recall is an expected event in democracy. Defection is an expected event in democracy. Impeachment is one of the spices of democracy. What I don't want to see in democracy, as we are experiencing in Nigeria, is a democracy where, you know, within that a dispensation, some group of politicians want to sell the entire national assets. That's what I'm not comfortable with. You know, I've always been comfortable with what we call subsidy, because you just want to cushion probably economic effects for your country, to make sure maybe industries come up, you help the less privileged to come up. But when it is being abused, it becomes probably a cancer that can destroy a country.